Hi, I'm Rich with InsideHPC. We're here at SC15 in Austin, Texas, and we're here at the Mellanox booth. And I have Mr. Scot Schultz here. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
Oh, great. You know, we're having a terrific week. But I wanted to ask you guys about what are you showcasing here at SC15?
Well, today and this week we've actually introduced the world's first smart switch. And so Switch IB2 is our second generation EDR switch switching fabric that basically introduces a new technology called SHARP. It's a scalable hierarchical protocol technology. And we have now the ability to actually increase and give you the next order of magnitude of performance that we actually haven't seen since around the 1990s, right? So, so this technology fundamentally gives you the ability to offload collective operations onto the fabric. This is probably one of the first generation switches out there that is going to be a series of future ongoing technology as we move more intelligence onto the network, right? So we believe that, and in the past, there's always been concern putting your storage closer to your compute, or perhaps, how do you actually save money by not having to move data onto compute? And, with this ubiquitous kind of explosion of data that we're never going to get out of,
right.
I think it's probably safe to say that as you move data across the network, all of the endpoints in the network will actually have some sort of co-processing capabilities. So this is one of the first pieces of technology. I think that Mellanox is going to have a series of very compelling next order of magnitude of performance capabilities in order to get to Exascale, hopefully here in the 2020 timeframe.
Okay, so this first iteration of this smart switch, is that 100 gigabit kind of?
100 gigabit EDR today.
Yeah.
Mostly, or most likely, next generation HDR will be available in 2017. We should have an end-to-end solution, in early 2017, I would expect.
So that's the smart switch. What else are you showcasing here?
So we also introduced a pretty unique piece of technology, being able to put on one PCI Express card the capabilities that we have today with the EDR fabric. Our ConnectX-4 LX with all of the offload engines and acceleration engines. We've also coupled together with the Xilinx FPGA. So now you get the kind of the best of both acceleration worlds right on one adapter, very next to each other. It kind of serves as a bump on the wire. And so, we think that this has very good potential for a number of HPC applications, but as well as it's very popular right now in financial services and, not just HPC, but enterprises picking up this type of technology and deploying it, already today to keep their competitive advantage. So that's one of the things that we bring to the table.
Okay, well, along those lines, I was going to ask you about Mellanox's strategy going forward with this idea of co-design, and you've got these systems coming up with the Coral systems and that. Right. So what can you tell me about that, Scott?
Well, Switch IB2 is actually one of the first pieces of the hardware from Mellanox that is based on the co-design concept, right? So we actually believe, and it might be arrogant to think, any one company might be able to provide all of the software, all of the hardware. It's really quite an undertaking when you think about the magnitude of Exascale. It probably will not ever be deployed as a complete homogeneous architecture, right? Exascale, and on top of that, Exascale will most certainly not be what we consider rip and replace today. These machines are going to be very power hungry. They're going to be a lot of cooling, a lot of careful thought and consideration is going to go into these next generation machines. So co-design is really about reusing the software ecosystem with having the minor tweaks and whatnot to be able to deliver not just 10s and 20 nanoseconds here and there, like maybe moving things closer to the chip is a good idea, but you're really only saving, in the order of nanoseconds. With the first iteration of the world's first smart switch from Mellanox, right, you get an order of magnitude of performance. We're talking like 10x performance improvement, especially on the MPI workloads. And then, as we move into more co-design efforts and evolution, what I was discussing about sending data over the wire, maybe doing data reductions on the switch and passing it on to the next endpoint. These types of technologies that we take a look at, for future generation deployments of high-performance systems.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the top 500, and if you add up all that performance, right, that doesn't even get you close to Exascale. So I think you're right on the money
right,
there.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly. And this, what's awesome is this technology is actually going to be available here in like Q2, right, for customers to actually use. And I think with the co-design efforts that we have ongoing, UCX is another one of the co-design evolutions I think that you have covered in the past. So we certainly work with the labs, with Oak Ridge National Lab. We work with the IBM and NVIDIA. Most all of the vendors who actually are the very experts in their field, right? Nobody does GPU compute better than somebody who's designing a GPU for a number of years, right? Yeah. And these are the types of kind of collaborative efforts I think that we almost absolutely are paramount of importance that we have to get to Exascale.